Good morning. We've made it to Friday. This is January the 30th, 2015. I've been blessed doubly this morning by reading devotion, My Utmost for His Highest, and by listening to R.C. Sproul teach on an obscure, not commonly read story about David adopting the crippled son of his dear friend Jonathan. Worth a listen and is entitled Amazing Love. As I finished listening, or as while I was at the end of listening to that teaching, a song from Charles Wesley came to my mind. Charles Wesley, the brother of John Wesley, wrote this hymn in 1738, and then the melody that was in the Methodist hymnal was written in the mid 1800s or the early 1800s. Around 1987, the Lord blessed me with some melody that has stayed with me. And it's been a number of years since these words came to me. So on the way over, I had to probe my brain to recall these words. And I'll try to sing it for you. But the words are, "And can it be that I should gain an interest in my Savior's blood? He died for me. I caused his pain. For me the cross he endured. Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, should die for me? Long my imprisoned spirit lay, fast bound in sin and nature's night. Thine eye diffused a quickening ray. I awoke, the dungeon flamed with light. My chains fell off, my heart was free. I arose, went forth, and followed thee. No condemnation now I dread. Jesus and all in him is mine. Alive in him my living head, clothed in his righteousness divine. Bold I approach the eternal throne, and claim the crown through Christ my own. And can it be that I should gain an interest in my Savior's blood? He died for me. I caused his pain for me. The cross he endured. Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, should die for me? Long my imprisoned spirit lay, fast bound in sin and nature's night. Thine eye diffused a quickening ray. I awoke, the dungeon flamed with light. My chains fell off, my heart was free. I arose, went forth, and followed thee. No condemnation now I dread. Jesus and all him is mine. Alive in him, my living head, clothed in his righteousness divine. Bold I approach the eternal throne and claim my crown through Christ my own. Sing that last song, that last verse with me. No condemnation I dread, Jesus and all in him is mine. Alive in him, my living head, clothed in his righteousness divine. Bold I approach the eternal throne and claim the Christ, the crown through Christ my own. 1 John 3:1 says, Behold, what manner of love the Father has given unto us, that we should be called the children of God. Let the behold take hold of you. It's like a light coming on. Realize whose you are. You have been bought with a price. What a precious price. Now on to a more difficult word, the dilemma of obedience. 1 Samuel 3:15, and Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. God seldom speaks to us in startling ways, but in ways that are easy to misunderstand, and we say, I wonder if that is God's voice. Isaiah said that the Lord spake to him with a strong hand, that is, by the pressure of circumstances. Nothing touches our lives, but it is God himself speaking. Do we discern his hand, or only mere occurrence? Do we discern his hand, or only mere occurrence? Now, before you think that everything that occurs indicates that you need to say something to somebody about what God has revealed to you, I find that most of the time when God puts me in circumstances and is trying to speak to me, he is saying, hush, be quiet. One of the things that we learned as residents at the City of Faith was from the prayer partners. All of these fine men and women were formerly pastors and well educated and well trained. And their main goal as being prayer partners at the City of Faith was to practice the presence of Christ. Our job is not to argue anybody into the kingdom. Our job is not to convert people. Our job is not to save people. Our job is to be a witness to the alive, vibrant, powerful Christ, our risen Savior. It's usually with your word, rarely with words, usually with your actions. And then once your actions and caring and love is evident, then you may use words, but only in love. Words that will bring conviction, that leads to hope of salvation, not words of condemnation or criticism that tear down and leave one hopeless. Get into the habit of saying, "Speak, Lord," and life will become a romance. Every time circumstances press, say, "Speak, Lord." Make time to listen. Chastening is more than a means of discipline. It is meant to get me to the place of saying, "Speak, Lord." Recall the time when God did speak to you. Have you forgotten what he said? Was it Luke 11:13, or was it 1 Thessalonians 5:23? As we listen, our ears get acute, and like Jesus, we shall hear God all the time. Shall I tell my Eli what God has shown to me? That is where the dilemma of obedience comes in. We disobey God by becoming amateur providences. I must shield Eli, the best people we know. God did not tell Samuel to tell Eli. He had to decide that for himself. God's call to you may hurt your Eli, but if you try to prevent the suffering in another life, it will prove an obstruction between your soul and God. It is at your own peril that you prevent the cutting off of the light of the right hand or the plucking out of the eye. Never ask the advice of another about anything God makes you decide before him. If you ask advice, you will nearly always side with Satan. Paul said, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. A most difficult and delicate word. I pray you have wisdom that if you have an Eli in your life, that God has given you insight and a word for that you're able to say it in love. And if you are Eli and someone comes to you with a word of conviction, then welcome it and be glad for the correction. I pray that all of us remain disciples, that we continually be students, that we teach and that we learn, that we fellowship in the blameless, accepting, and strong love of our Savior. Behold what manner of love the Father has given unto us, that we should be called the children of God. Now, you're children of God. Go and act like it. Play, work, have a good time. Allow there to be laughter. Allow there to be tears. Allow there to be sincerity. Allow there to be fellowship. We serve a risen Savior. He's in the world today. I know that he is living no matter what men may say. I see his hand of mercy. I hear his voice of cheer. And just the time I need him, he's always near. Blessings.